can go. I'll start the recording. So this is a broadband MLP meeting on December, what is the date today? It's the 16th today.
We should do a thing, a clapper, clapper board. Coordinate the audio.
Good job, Craig, by the way, changing your scenery.
Just for you.
Yeah, very nice.
It's gonna fill in with snow and he'll disappear in it.
This is the October 30th snowstorm.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was trying to find the down poles on January Hills, but I can't find them quickly. So.
Oh yeah. I did see a Surtex truck the other day in town, so I guess we'll get to that probably, but I was glad to see that.
And HughesNet is still here. They offered me, they say that they
super fast internet now available.
I get those too.
I know.
Very excited.
Yeah. They have not gotten the memo yet.
I guess not.
No. All right, first order of business is approve the minutes from November 18th. Jim sent them around yesterday. I make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. All right, let's go to HUT report. Graham, what do you got for us?
Let's see. I think I might have said it in an email even. I found the air filters for cleaning out on the indoor units. Looks like you should do it once a year. A little bit of dust in them, and the website for Dakin said the outside units are hose them out if you want to. So I think we probably don't need to do much to the outside units unless unless something buries them in who knows what. But anyhow, so I flipped the HVAC units as usual, and that's about all. I guess I turned the I put a hair dryer on the temperature gauge, and you got a couple of emails, did you, on that one? Okay, so
Yep. Crocker did too. They're good.
Did too. Okay, so nothing else on the HUT. Looked pretty orderly.
Great. And Graham, when you were in there last, I saw you go in there sometime in the last week. Did the phone ring in there? Did you get a call from Crocker?
No, but I did check that the phone. Yeah, I tested the phone because a month ago when I went in there, as you know, but everyone the phone had no dial tone in the HUT, so it kind of like. So therefore, if someone had broken in and if someone had set off the alarm, then they wouldn't. If it was a Crocker person and they got the phone call and they didn't have a valid password, then the phone would not have rung because it was blocked. It had no dial tone. It was not working, and so unplugging it, powering it down and powering it back up was cleared it. But you wouldn't have known that if you were just in the HUT. So.
Yeah, so I think they're going to start making those calls on the start of the new year. So if you're in the HUT and the phone rings, answer it so that they don't call the police.
Yeah. And we won't say what the secret word is.
No, right. We won't say what the secret word is this time.
Okay.
Yep. All right. And how about the latest maintenance report, Graham?
Oh, yeah. It looked pretty, so the help ticket stuff from Crocker, as you and I noted, Gail, that Crocker didn't have many internet. So of the 60 or so contacts with customers, hardly any were internet problems. Most of them were questions or how do I get my voicemail or stuff like that. There were a couple of, for the very first time, we could see some people who had failed to pay, and 3 of them maybe. And then one of them had come up with the money and restored their service. But I don't know whether that means that there'd never been a failed payer before, as opposed to different to cancelling service for the season, which also got noted, one of them. But Gail, had we heard of any? I mean, is this financial distress that somehow or other relates to COVID, or what's your sense?
Yeah, so I asked about those four accounts that were suspended for non-payment. It happens after 60 days. And all of them are either just paid up and it was like, neglectful, or they forgot or something, or it was a financial trouble. There's a few that needed to be put on a payment plan. And so they were. So all of them have been reinstated, some of them with a payment plan.
Okay. Is the payment plan, does it help them, or just put the payment off till when they've got money?
It just puts it off, and Crocker says they work with them whatever they want. So like, say they owe 2 back months, then they're like, fine, you can pay an extra, $7 a month until you pay this off, or whatever you need.
And there was 1 or 2 phone problems, maybe one phone, and it had to be reset, I guess, probably like the one in the hut. In fact, it might have been the one in the hut. I didn't look carefully. Yeah. Maybe it was one Cooleyville Road, but yeah. So yeah, they seem to be doing, from the point of view of equipment issues, as you said, Gail, they've finally got their phones, and their people are remembering how their phones work, and their internet. So seems good.
Great. All right, Steve, over to you for financial report.
Okay. Well, our current balance is $123,870 in the enterprise fund, but significantly, there's a check from Crocker for $39,445 that has gone missing, and this is it's the September subscription fees, but due to the lag, it was Crocker mailed it at the November, I think, 24th. I just got the dates today, and Ryan never received this, so Crocker's issuing a new check. And I have started looking into, back when I first started doing the finances, I talked with Ryan about, couldn't we do this as electronic transfer from Crocker? I didn't think people were still mailing checks for $39,000 regularly. And Ryan was, well, yeah, I guess some people do that. And so I did, try to speed the thing up a bit by having the check mailed directly to Ryan, to the payable to the treasurer, to, so that it's not like for Gail or I to go up to the town hall to get the check and then turn it over to the treasurer. And so that was working well till, I started saying, why hasn't this been credited to our account? And so I contacted Ryan, he says, I never got the check. So I started looking into this again with Kathy Whitney at Crocker, and I'll talk to Ryan about it. And it just doesn't seem like the way, not really comfortable with this idea that they're mailing these checks. And so we'll see where that goes. And there is yet another $39,645 that has been billed that should be paid by the end of this month. So there are some bills to be paid, but when we get those checks in, our balance should be considerably higher. And I'm still waiting on the November fee statement that I usually have by this time of the following month, and don't have that yet. So I'll follow up on that also. That's it from here.
Great. Probably by February, we'll also have the last of the grant funds, so another $25,500. I just out paperwork for the select board to sign. So they're going to do that at their end of the year meeting. And then if it follows the same kind of pathway of our other grant funds, it should be less than a month before we get it. So sometime in January. So that'll finally be it for our grant with the state. All right, I'll move into manager report. So our annual report was submitted to the town last week. Thanks a lot to Jim for working on with me on that, and we got it out 3 weeks early. It was due by the end of the year, so we got it out in plenty of time. Our surety bond, the DTC petition, has been resubmitted with, I think I mentioned last time, the lawyer for the state called me. It was missing some critical things. So I resubmitted it, made copies of all of our hundreds of pages of license agreements and sent them all to the utilities. So the only kind of snafu is that the one that was priority mailed certified to Verizon, I've been tracking it and it was never delivered. It says the address doesn't exist. It says that they were sending it back. That was on the 5th. I haven't seen it. So Verizon continues to be one of my favorite companies. Let's move on. So
it's actually classic that they would have an old address that's now on their contractual stuff.
Yeah. So I reached out to the state lawyer and I said, what do I do? I can't just send it back there. It'll just get kicked back, or like this time lost in the mail. I have no idea where it is because it hasn't made its way back to us. So I need to make copies of everything again. And he gave me the address of the lawyer that he knows for Verizon. So I'm just going to send it directly to that guy. But anyway, it's moving along. So what else is going on? Our inventory. So I spoke last time about how we're having some massive inventory problems. The good news is that our drop materials, the big order that I submitted back in October with Crocker, should be shipping this week and here within 1 week. So we will have all of the drop materials that we need for a very long time. I over-ordered knowing that these supply chain issues are going to go on for quite a while. The thing we still are having trouble getting, and is like the limiting factor, is our ONTs. So we got that order of 10 and we've used up almost all of them on the installs that happened in November. And then we have 5 more happening this month. And I've directed Crocker to stop doing installs because we can't use up all of our ONTs. Can you imagine if a customer lost service and needed a new ONT? And we said, we don't have the part. I know you've had internet all this time, but you can't have internet for 2 months until we get another shipment. So that's a bit disconcerting. So we're
Gail, have you contacted either of those two Calix guys who, you know,
yeah, even asked for like, is there any other you know, because this is just one model of one thing. And I'm just saying, and I directed them, I said, is there any ONT? I don't even care if it costs double, any ONT that'll work with our system. They're all back ordered.
Oh, gee.
It's really bad. Apparently it's 2 things. It's COVID, just supply chain issues, but also all of these are manufactured in China. So, and compound this with the fact that internet growth is exploding all around the world. So not only is there supply chain issues, but the equipment is these materials are in really, really high demand right now. So
is there, how about any other town, municipality, company that use this equipment that may have back something themselves, and contacting them and asking for 10?
Everyone else is a Nokia shop.
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't even mean locally. I meant nationally.
Oh, nationally?
Yeah.
Haven't not done that yet. I've tried to find like other municipalities. That's a good suggestion though, of maybe bugging our regional sales reps saying, is there anywhere else in all of New England that uses this?
In all of the country, or even
anywhere.
the country?
Yeah, Gal, you could embarrass them a little bit by saying this makes calyx look bad. Even if stuff's made in China, hey, China's solved the COVID problem. So,
well, I also at one point I was looking for them. I can even trace it to the importers, but they haven't imported anything for a while.
Gail, we did find out that South Hadley also is a calyx town. Any possibility they might have any? Have we looked into that already?
No, I've not reached out to any other municipalities. So if it gets dire, I will take that next step. We do have an order of 20 that they've given us a tentative ship date at the end of February. So we just need to get through January.
In February.
Yeah, and most of February. Yeah, I guess all of February too.
And half of December.
Yeah.
Just saying.
and half of December. So, I will.
Did you get a name of any company in the country or the world? I can follow up with it if you want. If you do get something from it, if you want to go that way.
Thank you. I think I'll start with Sheld, the South Hadley project, because we already have a little relationship with them. And just like maybe beg, I'd feel so much more comfortable if we just had like 4 in stock instead of 2. So I'll see what I can do on that.
So we only have 2 spares right now?
We have 6 spares. 4 of them are going to be used for the installs before the end of the year, though. And that's, and like I said, I cut off installs. I said no more until we get more ONTs. So.
Crocker, just out of interest, Crocker could tell us if there's any places that just never turn on their system. There may be some places.
You want to run an ONT salvage operation?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I still have that one that sort of works. The one that came from down on Lakeshore Drive.
Yep, the Alex residence.
And Alex.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we were desperate, we could probably throw it in. It sort of worked.
Yeah, and I would definitely do that if we need it for a repair. It's either like use this one that sort of works or have no internet. I would take it.
Sure.
So
that's one.
Anyway.
So did you say we'll get 10 or 20 at the end of February?
20.
20, okay. So
20, unless they curb our order, if they start rationing, I don't know, but.
You don't have them until you have them, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think talking to the calyx sales rep and getting a list of towns, municipalities that have that use them, then you can just call those places up, right? Say, we'll take 2 or 1, just mail us 1.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever you got.
Or telecommunications companies that are using them too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have the same issues we do. They're going to say, no, we got to hang on to them. Right? Unless they happen to have a lot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, right. That one they might, but you don't know if you don't ask.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. So I don't know if I mentioned that I authorized another order for another 20, anticipating it might be 6 months to a year before we get the next order.
In addition to the ones that come at the end of February.
Correct.
Okay.
So worse, 40 extra in stock. I'd rather have that situation than not enough.
It's like toilet paper in the COVID crisis.
It is. This is the telecommunications equivalent of toilet paper is the ONTs.
We'll be able to scalp when we get
a closet full of ONTs. How much?
Yep.
How much do you pay for them?
Yep. Mm. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our billing and invoice problems. Still not solved with Triwire. this is, I know this meeting is being recorded and it's okay because it'll come out in a month. But let's not put it in the minutes for now because Crocker is exploring canceling their contract with Tri-Wire. They're just done.
Okay.
And I'm done too. I was done 2 months ago, but it was in the hands of Crocker. So they have a proposal out to Surtex to be our installer and maintenance folks. The catch, I don't know if it's catch, but we have a contract with Crocker. So Crocker needs to find an installer who will work within the parameters of our contracted prices. If they can't, Crocker has to eat the extra cost, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I think that they're going to have to end up doing that a little bit with Surtex, of having to kind of make up the difference for the extra charges that Surtex is gonna charge over what Tri-Wire agreed to do the job for.
None of this goes into the minutes, right?
Yeah, just Jim, if you could just put something like Crocker is exploring alternative vendor relationships.
Yeah, especially because they're in negotiations, obviously, with both companies right
now. So anyway, in light of that, we still don't have any of the billing things worked out. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Gail, do you get the feeling from your talks with Tomato and Crocker about this, that Crocker has paid Tri-Wire for those repairs?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it. Mm. I doubt it because Tim did mention that Kathy, the billing head, and Crocker was going back and forth about payment or past invoices. So she's in it now too, trying to work out those payments. So I doubt it. Mm.
And of course, this may roll around to our next ISP contract that we may not be able to get as good a deal because ISP vendors are realizing it's going to cost them more to do the maintenance. So,
yeah, you guys, and by you guys I mean Graham and Jim, have had good experience with Collins Electric.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, and I see their trucks around often.
All right.
In fact, it did cross my mind. I assume, did we see Surtex bid on road construction stuff? I mean, we know they're great on drops and even repairing drops. We know that, but I'm not. I can't remember whether Surtex bid on whole town installs. They
yes.
Did.
Yes, they did.
That's good. Yeah.
Yep.
Then they can repair it. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, I suggested it to Tim a couple months ago, but I just was reminded I should probably remind him again that they should really look into working with Collins to do all the drops, and maybe use Surtex for distribution line. I don't know, but there's, it could be kind of a split job. It would be nice to have the drop people local because that's what most of these repairs are.
And I know Collins does Leverett, so they're definitely interested in the area.
Yep. Okay. I'll remind him.
I assume Surtex is dispatching from Connecticut. I mean, the trucks I've seen of theirs here have Connecticut plates on them. And so one way or another, you're paying somebody to drive that distance, regardless of who pays what bill, it all works into what it costs to do the job. And so there's a benefit on somebody local from a cost standpoint, potential benefit there.
Where's Tri-Wire from?
They are from.
They don't know.
We have no idea.
Is that Tewksbury?
Yeah, thank you. Tewksbury.
In the Merrimack Valley,
That's why we put that time limit in there, realizing this problem.
Yeah.
Everyone's driving.
A lot of them came from over near Worcester. I remember.
Yeah, when they dispatched out of Auburn, I think
they had something locally, and they said they were going to maintain it, but I don't know.
Yes, because they were trying to establish a relationship with Wired, with Westfield Gas and Electric, WG. But I'm not sure that that's worked out.
Well, it's still there's still the contracted drop installer and repair person for them.
Yeah, and they've got warranty stuff to do. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Graham, I did get a answer from you about using the ONT for testing purposes. They have no concerns about that, but they did say any ONT that's used for testing should probably not be a permanent installation for a customer. So it's fine to use it multiple times to test. They're not worried about the connector wear, but they'd rather not see that particular ONT installed in anybody's home.
Yeah, and Jim, because you've probably got the diagnostic ONT there, my question was via Gail to Crocker. My concern is that every time you plug a connector in and take the dust off and plug a connector, a fiber connector into anything, it's potential contamination. Potential dust gets in and you can't see it, and that to my mind makes it it's like once it's out of the bag that the best practices has got to be cleaned. And of course, we can't clean them and we can't inspect them. So anyhow, it's just something to keep in mind. I would recommend to everyone, and probably to put it on our website, that people just shouldn't ever unplug. They unplug the power plug if they know what that is, but don't unplug the fiber to the to an ONT or an NID, because there's dust out there and it'll kill the performance.
Well, let alone the problem of looking at the end of the cable with what's coming through it.
That's a good reason to tell them.
That's even better reason. And maybe
laser light in the eyes.
Yeah.
People who burned their eyeballs with little brown spots.
But if you mention that, don't screw around with it, and that just might be an invitation for people to take an interest that they shouldn't be taking. I don't know.
Dust is the big one, and I remember we talked about not wanting to scare people. So
they all have the stickers on them, and it's on our website. Please don't unplug the ONT.
Okay.
So. Hopefully people will heed that warning. All right, so normally this would be a very short meeting, but I do have the results of the survey to share with you all. But before I do that, I want to open the floor to see if there's any other issues, questions, problems before we get into that.
General things, but I've said a bunch. Anyone else got any general stuff? Yeah. One is that the weekly data usage thing that we get from Crocker, I get from Crocker, it's been hitting 3 gig every night now. So so it used to hit 2.5 when we started. After a few weeks, we were hitting 2.5 a couple of nights, and now we hit 3. Not a reason for concern because we've got 10 gigabits per second as our bandwidth. It does mean, because it's a smooth curve on a 30-minute average, it actually, I think it was Kent who mentioned at one point that it must mean that they do hit 10 gigabit per second quite regularly, but not long enough to not long enough probably to make any difference to performance. But I was curious because the thing that'll drive it up as we said right from the get-go, has anyone got a 4K TV? I don't, and I'm not thinking of getting one. Anyone got a 4K? Okay.
I think I do.
All right, so they're already out there. Is anyone getting one for the Christmas or whatever? Yeah, okay, right.
They're pretty standard. They're pretty standard. They're pretty standard now. If you get a new TV, you're pretty much going to get.
At this point,
Right.
within a year, I think you'll just see 4K TVs.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just assuming that, you know, what have we got? Two out of 2, 4, 6, 7. Just assuming that you know, 20% already or 10% already have 4K TVs. That suggests that we will probably, you know, we'll head up that ramp towards 10K because 4K TV takes about 5 times as much by, you know, bits per second as an ordinary one. So yeah, so long-term interest thing there to watch. And the other one is 2 people I know who work in Vermont in hospitals, and they different hospitals, one in Burlington, one in Montpelier. You probably heard on the news they got a virus attack, you know, malware or
I heard.
Yeah, ransomware was what. But anyhow, it shut down their most of their medical equipment. They couldn't do. It's a nurse that I know up in Burlington. They couldn't do stuff. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, staggering. And of course, just last week in the news, what is it? DHS, the State Department, and NIH all got they all got hacked by their management software, SolarWinds. I don't know what Crocker uses, but UMass, Greg, UMass uses SolarWinds for their network management. So
oh no.
Yeah, and about 10% of SolarWinds customers got hacked, and the Department of Homeland Security was one of them, and it got inserted like 6 months ago. I mean, it's staggering, and yeah. So, anyways, the long and the short of it is, we should be very careful not to open those things that we weren't expecting and look odd, because they might be very odd. And Gail, I guess, asked Tim Otto, what is our, you know, what is their protection, their software? How do they stop gremlins getting in? Because it could shut down a whole town system if you know, if they get hacked. And I'm sure they think about it a lot. But there you go. So, all right, that's all.
Okay, thanks.
Gail, if you don't mind, I'd like to pay everybody a compliment, or we deserve one. I mean, this is a tiny technical matter, but I've been getting complaints from people who are outside of Shutesbury who are using those Umla boxes for phone service, and we just did a very smart thing by. Although I know the ONTs are hard to get right now, but having the ONT integrated into, you know, our phone lines integrated into the ONT is going to be a real plus for the long term. These Umla boxes seem to, at least what I've discovered, when people call me, and also they've noticed the same thing when they call someone else, they take a couple of seconds to connect to the VoIP server. And that delay means if you pick up the phone and the phone is ringing and there's this sort of blank delay, if you do, most people do what I do, they immediately hang up because it's usually somebody from India calling, trying to sell you something. Everybody with these Umla devices are having this trouble, apparently, and I've heard it time and time again. So we don't have that, and it just really separates us from others who are stuck with the technology that is being installed with over in New Salem and elsewhere. Let alone having an additional box, which means additional service problems with that. It's just great that we don't have to deal with that.
Thanks for that. It's nice to hear.
That was the Westfield model, was it?
Yeah, that's the Westfield model. Yeah,
Oh, well, okay.
3 boxes. The fiber box, which is what in Agilent,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nokia box, and the router and a separate phone device. So we have 2 devices. They have 3, which means just more support problems. I would say, especially since most of them are going to be phone related.
Very cool.
Great. All right. So if nobody has anything else, I'll go into the survey. I think it'll take maybe 20 minutes to go through the results. All right, so I'll start with just a kind of high level summary of what we saw. And then I'll go deeper and like actually show you the results in a report. So let's see. Do you guys see a screen share?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
So we got a good return rate. I was only expecting maybe 15, 20% of people to respond, and we got a full 30% of our 763, 65, something like that, subscribers. So I was super pleased about that because it improves the overall accuracy when we get more people who are responding. And this is really the bottom line, the biggest takeaway, 91.15 of them. I'll be honest, I was surprised by that. I thought we'd see something closer to 80, 85. But Tim Otto made a good point. All we hear are the customers who are unhappy.
Right.
So my view of things
Gail,
is
you're breaking up on my, your audio is breaking up.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's at your end, Gail, because we're all hearing it.
Yeah.
Some of us.
I'm not 100% satisfied with your connection.
At the moment, I'm not either.
You want, Greg?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so I think you all heard that good. Oh, I probably have to share again here. Where we got over 90% satisfaction rate, which was a surprise to me because we hear lots of complaints, but that's because we are the complaint department.
Right.
86% think it's a good or great value for the money.
Right.
A bit more than half of the respondents said they contacted Crocker. A lot of the contacts were about installation, during that, getting their billing set up and things. So that's not, I wouldn't say that's an accurate number. We'll get better, like kind of more sustained numbers next year with that. 60% of respondents rated Crocker as excellent or very good. And 13% say it's not good or very poor. You'll notice there's a gap there that doesn't add up to 100 because there's also a mid-level, neutral response there. And slightly more issues were about phone. And we know this. More people have trouble with phone issues than internet. So let's look at the survey in detail. You'll notice that for some of these responses that it does not add up to the full 226 because it was a conditional survey where, depending on the respondent's answer to some of the questions, other questions disappeared or reappeared. So it doesn't mean that the person didn't answer it. It means they may not have gotten that question. If they answered, for example, no, I didn't contact Crocker about anything, then we're not going to make them go through the questions related to that. So here is the just overall satisfaction. And that's where I got that 91% of the very satisfied or satisfied. Here's the good value question. So a little more than half the people contacted Crocker this year. We said this year, but a lot of people included last year. I just know that from the comments about like, well, I had trouble with installation. Well, it probably didn't happen this year because there's only been, 10 installations. So, but that's fine. We're glad to get all the feedback. So here's where we got the excellent and very good for overall customer support, and adequate too was that middle choice, the neutral choice. And if anyone wants me to stop at something to take a deeper look, let me know, and I can also send out this whole PDF if anyone wants to review afterwards. Most of the people contacted Crocker about just one or even two issues. This was a little surprising to me. I thought that there'd be a lot more email contacts, but most people just pick up the phone and call Crocker for help. Tim said that this is normal across all of their services. Most people still pick up the phone. They don't send an email or chat or anything, that they are still calling in.
Well, one thing I'd say about Crocker is you pick up the phone, you call them, you're talking to somebody like in Greenfield. And if they're busy, they say, we'll have somebody call you back, and they do call you back. At least that's been my experience. And, you're not getting a call center with a long list there that you're on hold, and then you're talking to somebody in India. So, yeah, to me, it's really simpler just picking up the phone and calling them than it would be emailing them.
Yep.
And more satisfactory, or is very satisfactory calling them, which is rare these days.
Your answering machine cut off right away, right after you say hi. Yeah. I think there's, I'm not sure if that was just a one-time glitch or what. Anyway, just had a couple questions for you. Hope you're doing well up there on the hill. And talk to you soon. Oh, that was an interesting, very interesting.
All right. Where'd Gail go?
I got dropped again. I don't know if there's something. Yeah, there's something going on with this. I'm not using my normal Zoom account. I'm using one of the town Zoom accounts because my professional account doesn't allow for recording. So anyway, sorry about that. What did I miss? Steve, you were talking about calling in with phone.
Yeah, just that because when you call Crocker, you're talking to a real person right nearby. It's a very satisfactory way to do business, where most of these companies now, you call, you're getting a call center with a long tree, and you're getting somebody in India or somewhere, and it's not very satisfactory. So that's why people wouldn't use phone. People got used to not using phone, but I don't think.
If you can call them, if you can call
Right,
them.
exactly.
I mean, you look in the Verizon website, and I'll bet you $100 you can't find a number to call within 10 minutes by looking at their website. This is the phone company. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's the phone of the phone company.
No, it's true. I had to interact with Verizon Wireless recently, and it was frustrating as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd also like to say, because I've had a lot of experience dealing with companies like OTT. And let me tell you, I have really no complaints about Crocker, because when I call Crocker, I could get to someone, within a minute or two. And if I have to deal with OT&T in Leverett, it's a nightmare. I have to wait 45 minutes on hold, and then they get back to me, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. It's just, they have terrible phone support. So, I think Crocker is way ahead of the game on this. I think we're lucky, in some respects to have that kind of responsivity. So I'm not surprised we're getting such good results on these. I
had a repair situation this past weekend, and it worked out perfectly. I copied a couple of people, but I didn't copy everybody, but it was all, I called, they answered, they called back saying that the person, they said it's the weekend, unless it's emergency. I said, that's great. That's the right answer. They came on Monday. They called first, said Tri-Wire would be there. Tri-Wire showed up, and it worked out well.
Yeah. Yeah, they have been getting much better with Tim Otto at the helm. Even just in these last 2 months, the communication has improved dramatically. The processes are better. So yeah, I think this is all really great news. And this survey really made me feel much better that we're offering a really great service at a good price to everybody. Because I wasn't so sure, honestly, about how, I know people are using it. I know that they're, grateful for it and all of that, but are they satisfied? And this answered that question. Yeah, largely everybody is.
Gail, your video is still off.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it off in case that was one of the problems of why I keep getting cut off.
And Gail, as you know, you've got the hardest job, or the customer facing telephone, and so you will get the people who are fed up with whatever. And sometimes it's their problem, as you know, and sometimes it's Crocker problem. But you've got the hardest. You're gonna hear from everyone or anyone who is irritated, upset, frustrated. So
yes, I believe I have heard from everyone.
Gail, I did have one question. There's a possibility I missed it, but it could have gone just to junk mail. I never got the survey. Was it to everyone, or?
It went to all of the email addresses that Crocker had in their account records. So if it was so I'm sure that some people got it spammed out, or if your wife has the billing account in her name, it would have just gone to her.
No, it's in mine, but it might have been just gone directly to junk.
Yeah.
Kent, do you get a monthly email advice on the invoice?
Yeah, I actually do get that, so I don't know why that would happen. But there's also the possibility I get so much email I might have missed it.
Yeah, it actually it looked like it came from us, broadband.shutesbury.org.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
So look for that in your junk mail. If you want to find. They
spoofed MLP Manager on mine, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I wondered how they did that. Did you have to give it? They can just spoof, can they?
Yeah, well, it's they put it out through SurveyMonkey, and so there's a way that you can set the email that it's supposed to come from. Yeah.
Well, that's very gratifying that there was such a positive response, and a large response and a positive response.
Yeah.
That's a lot to do with Gail too, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely true.
I hope so. Being the complaints department here.
Yeah.
So here's the what did you call about This something else was a free open-ended answer, and they'll share some of those in a minute. Yeah, so here's the excellent and very good for Crocker, and again, adequate. I was very pleased about this. I was expecting a lot more not good and very poor answers here, but for the most part, everyone's like, well, you know, it was good. It worked out.
If you're sharing your screen, we can't see it now.
Oh, thank you. Let's try that again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let me back up a little bit here. So where were we? We were at, oh yeah, so rate your experience. Most people, excellent, very good, adequate. What went wrong? And I said there's I'll share also the other responses, the open-ended at the end of the survey. I was expecting this to be the problem. The nobody called back, or the callbacks happened at inconvenient times, or it took multiple back and forth calls, or I spoke to multiple people before we got help. I knew that all of these communications issues are something that we've been struggling with Crocker. So that was not a surprise to me that when people rated the service as poor, that was one of the problems, is this, like, it just takes a long time to get through to someone, and that back and forth calling can happen over a number of days.
Gail, can you scroll us just to the numbers? Probably one screen down. Yeah.
There you go.
So they never solved my problem. I wonder what sort of problem that would have been. Or they only solved part of my problem. I wonder what those problems are. And I wonder if it's even, well, it sounds like something that maybe, you know, it's something that Crocker can't solve, and there maybe is a communication problem rather than a problem.
Yeah, the comments are a little bit interesting. You know, when they say other, so some people expounded on this a little bit. So we'll take a look at those.
I think what's really important is this all relates to the first year with a lot of people that never, ever had internet experience. So
yeah, true that. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it would change a year afterwards.
Yeah,
agreed. Yeah, I'll be really interested to run this survey again next fall and just do a comparison.
And HughesNet stuff used to crap out on me, you know, and behave badly. And
every day.
Mr. Hughes never called me back. I'm not even sure, like, the phone number. You know, what do you do? Yeah, so,
yeah. So this was one of the last questions that I found interesting. So we asked them, if you're contacting support, how quickly would a satisfactory response happen? And we'll skip right down to the numbers. So
Oh, you're breaking up again, Gail.
Yeah, there goes your audio.
can you hear us, Gail?
Can you hear us, Gail?
We should be aiming for to help all customers. That would, I think, be satisfactory. So
10% wanted straight away. Wow.
Is
Can
this
anyone hear anything from Gail?
I'm back. Kicked me out again.
Is this report going to be published or made available for all to look at, or is it just an inside report, so to speak?
Gail, you there?
Yeah, I can't hear either.
This isn't real good, by the way, when the broadband committee can't hold a meeting on the internet. Just saying.
This will be in the minute. This will show up on the.
Yeah, I'll keep it out of the minutes. Don't worry.
It's already in the minutes, right? Look, who knows? It's the Zoom that's obviously screwing up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as you know, I dropped off. We lost Craig for a second too. I think he's back.
Double back.
He's double back. We see him on his iPad Pro and regular.
Still not snowing at Craig's. That's good.
Gail, there was a question of, is this survey going to be published for the general public to see, or is this just an internal document?
Good question. I wasn't planning on posting it. I was thinking of maybe just putting some bullet points like, 91 point something % of people are satisfied or very satisfied with with the service, or they think it's a good value, whatever the question was. Maybe on our About Us webpage.
Yeah. I think that's fine.
I think that's good.
I'd recommend that, unless if you publish it, you probably should put some things in context too.
Yeah.
If you keep publishing.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to publish the comments we're looking at right now. Because a lot of them come out of context. We don't want to do things like, perpetuate the complaints, because this survey tells us that most people are happy.
Right. And it's going to be a little better than the percentage you got, because the people who are, maybe a few people like Kent didn't notice the survey request.
Yeah.
But if they were upset, we would have heard that they were upset, that they were unhappy. So
I think in any survey like this, you're going to get more unhappy people responding, and the happy people are going to say, "Yeah, I'm happy. I don't have time right now.
I'm happy. I'm busy."
Yeah, which is why I think this is really excellent results to open something up like this, that boy, you can really blame somebody, and to get such a strong positive response, I think is very good.
Yep.
Really encouraging.
So first, what I'll do here is on the this is the question about what else went wrong. So I'll just scroll down slowly so you can read some of this stuff.
It's not up there, just so you know.
Oh, geez. Oh, geez.
Oh, geez.
All right. Hopefully this won't break Zoom again.
Are you there, Gail?
I'm here.
Oh.
All right. So can you see the spreadsheet now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, it's funny what they really love.
So each of these things happen for one person, I guess. Is that
correct?
Yeah.
So what were the negative ones? I missed those. Those are right up front, right?
Yeah, well, those the negative and positive relate to another column, which we'll cover in a second. These are just the open-ended, like what else went wrong when you called that didn't fit the categories that we gave you. Like they didn't call back in a timely manner, or they didn't solve my problem. So this was like, why did you call them?
she reach out to you? Her boyfriend?
Gail, you're using Excel.
I am. It's lame.
What's wrong with you?
I know. Well, if you really want to see Zoom crap out, I could try using a FileMaker database with this. All right. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see everything here.
The remote access voicemail would be a nice thing. I just saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
But Gail, I was just reading something. I found them patronizing and obstructionist when it went away. I wanted to keep reading it out.
Oh, no worry. We'll get back there. We'll get back to the patronizing. Hold on.
Craig, you know, you can get an email audio for every voicemail. Yeah, okay.
I do know that, but you can do much fancier things with some of them.
Oh yeah.
Crocker is a crock.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Oh, here's my favorite comment of the whole thing. I kind of want to frame this one.
Yeah.
I've met my life goal of somebody out there has graded me as a 10 plus.
Yeah.
There we go.
I would go higher than that.
They didn't want you to take it personally, obviously.
So you'll notice for all of these, this was for the additional comments about your experience. And so I've graded them all as negative, neutral, or we have a bunch of positives below this. There's a couple of them that where they require a follow-up, like billing questions.
Yeah, that isn't correct. They'll do auto bill to your credit card.
Exactly, and these people just don't know it.
Exactly.
So what's happening with all these additional help needed ones is that Crocker Support has reached out to every one of these people saying, hey, we noticed this response on your survey. It's something we can actually help you with.
Good.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then there's a couple for me. So I've reached out to all these people. It's questions about like batteries and questions about 5G and things. So, it gave us a nice way to do a customer reach out for a handful of these folks.
Excellent. Yeah.
That person who claims to be getting better speed on the hotspot from Verizon, I'm sure that's because they're too far from their router. It's a Wi-Fi issue, it's certainly not a fiber issue.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I was wondering about that too.
Yeah, so all these speed complaints of like, it's not constant, it's not fast enough. We know they're getting almost a gig to their house. So for all of these, I just wrote them an email saying, we got your response to the survey. We saw that you were having a speed issue. Here's an article that will help you. If it still doesn't help, call Crocker. So it's basically the whole speed FAQ from our website about how to go about diagnosing your in-home network speed issues and what to do to improve it.
I would guess it's very rare that anybody gets gigabit on Wi-Fi, even when they're next to the router.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no chance.
I certainly don't, and
a new MacBook Pro of recent origin, like a 1919 or 20, will get maybe 700.
Well, mine I bought mine in a year ago, December.
Well, that's a report I've gotten. I don't own one of them. So. I'd also like to say, just as an aside to all this, I've done a couple of installations that use the newer Linksys router. It's an AC 2300, and it really does work a lot better. The dropout problem seems to disappear with it, and the distance that one can, because a lot of people judge them by their ability to make Wi-Fi calls, when they're running around the house, which is always a difficult thing to do. And people who are using it or have tried it and have one I mean, I noticed the difference, immediately. Of course, it's a lot more expensive. It's a $150 router, but still,
yep.
Linksys is on the way to improving things. And that isn't, I have some very negative things to say about some other routers that sell for an awful lot of money, like the Orbi, ones are just people are getting ripped off. But anyway, we won't get into that.
There's someone who likes it, but says, would love to see a lower cost since it's only bandwidth with no streaming. I have no idea what that last sentence means.
Well,
I think that they mean like traditional TV.
Oh, I see. Right.
I assume.
They're not
Like
getting
that
a
you've
TV.
got to
They're not
pay
getting a
extra
TV package
for Hulu
Yeah.
or Netflix and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah, so now we're down to all the positive comments. I highlighted 2 of my favorites.
The left wing.
The left wing.
How great is that?
I have to read that one.
Don't let the left wing loons get you down.
Oh, we're gonna put that on the.
And they live in Shutesbury.
Yep.
I thought the pissers were the right wing loons.
No, it's and. It's and. Don't let the pissers and the left wing loons.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
both.
okay.
Both. Don't let
Oh,
either
okay.
of them.
That person needs to know if the right wing was in charge, this wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Half the states don't allow doing what we're doing.
I love how the ones they're inconsistent. Like one of them says, I really appreciate the amount of time given to me for, about outage warnings. And then the next one down, a couple ones down say, they should warn us better about the outages. It's like, okay, well, which is it,
Yeah, this is standard. I don't see anything major here.
No, these are all the positive ones.
Yeah.
I have to go
all the,
Oh, I see.
negative one here.
I see. You filter them for us.
Gail, have we lost you?
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is
It might be a more local problem. She might be having a more local problem with the microphone. I've heard that sort of distorted, digital.
Because she's off now.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's resetting.
Well, I think she's probably restarting.
Yeah.
That's it.
So while she's waiting, I'll tell you a story. So my son is going down to West Virginia to be in a pod with students to study. And there was a similar pod there last fall. And it's in a ski area in West Virginia. And apparently there's a mom and pop microwave from the top of the hill internet to all the houses. And apparently the owner of the house knows this guy, and he said that one house with 5 students in it was using more bandwidth than all the other houses in the entire.
Not surprisingly.
He doesn't know they're starting up another house for the spring that my son's going to be joining. So hopefully the guy can keep his feed coming.
Are they getting snow today?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
I think West Virginia is getting it as well.
Probably, yeah. If it's a nor'easter, it would make sense.
Yeah, it's a nor'easter. It's a big one.
Yeah.
It went more to the north than, or the north. Yeah, it went more to the north than was predicted.
Oh, okay.
That's why we're getting it get hammered, apparently.
Yep.
All right, I'm back and ready to throw Zoom out the window. Yeah, so would you guys like some of these results? Should I send them around?
I'd be interested in the problems or the comments. Yeah.
Great. I've made them all anonymous, so everyone's protected here. So I will send around the spreadsheet.
And we're just agreeing though that we're not sharing
And
this.
also the PDF of the survey results, so you can noodle over it if you want. And yeah, so again, bottom line, we're doing a great job. Almost everyone is very satisfied.
Excellent.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for the local. I think Steve said it, but in the local nature of Crocker, I think people in town like that too. That they, you're not dealing with some call center and wherever it is. I mean, you're talking to somebody down the road, maybe is your neighbor or whatever. They like that.
Well, also Crocker built their business on answering service and keeping customers happy rather than a company using a machine or something. I know my dad used an answering service for a long time after everybody hadn't, because it was much better for the customers. And I think Crocker understands all that.
Yeah.
Right.
But we also follow it up ourselves too. I mean,
yes.
Graham and I go out and do these service calls, and
true,
and that is something I don't even see Leverett doing all that much of. So I think we're much more available, personable, and direct with our subscribers than probably anybody else. I'm sure we would rank at the very top of the list when it came to that.
We're going to double your pay now. We're going to double your pay, Jim.
Oh, thanks.
Your comments, Jim, about OTT were like very, very revealing to me.
Oh. And it's been consistent, because I have to contact them a lot because of the IP leasing arrangement that Leverett has, and which is a real pain in the ass. And so I'm constantly, every time I do a call and it involves something about changing a router or something to that effect, I've got to call them, to get them to, to grant another lease so that I could test something out. And it's just a nightmare, and it's always been a nightmare, and it doesn't change. And people are pissed, a lot of people complain about it in Leverett.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Thank God we never went down active Ethernet, Graham. That's because of you. Because active Ethernet's the problem with the IP.
Lucky guess, they didn't have it at UMass. So.
Oh, yeah.
All we got to do is survive the storm now. If we can just keep loose.
Yeah. This is supposed to be very light snow, so light, weight-wise. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's very dry because it's so cold out. When it's cold like this, it's always dry.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Which is great. I mean, snow will be great.
Yeah, it'll get straight past the trees to the ground.
I think so. I don't think it's going to be knocking down trees on wires and all that business.
Well, it's supposed to get very windy though. That's but that may be more along the coast. I don't know.
But that's also good for keeping it out of the trees.
Yeah. Sure.
There you go. It's always
Yep.
That's and the leaves are gone from the trees, so that's where we might be in good shape.
It'll be very good plowing snow for those of us who have snow plows and have to deal with long driveways.
Have fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
I love plowing snow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I think I think that's it. I don't know if you heard me right before I got so rudely cut off again by Zoom, but the bottom line of all of this is we're doing a great job. We have very satisfied customers. And so I think we can all pat ourselves on the back that we've done a super job this year getting people through this pandemic, and we'll continue to improve with the help of Crocker over the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And the other big one, we don't often think about it because none of us have sold our houses. Maybe Ayers is gone now, but Ayers, I see. But yeah, the value of all our houses went up, and our taxes, didn't really move. So, so it's kind of like, if you ever got to get rid of your house one day, then it's improved things that way too.
Yeah, and I don't know if you all saw. There's at some point, I think it was in August, when there's a realtor who posted on Nextdoor Shutesbury saying, "We don't have any houses left for sale in Shutesbury. If you are thinking of selling your house, please contact me because there's people wanting to move into the area."
So,
Right.
And yeah, I have a friend who is relocating from Maine in the coming year, and he's looking at houses right now. And he contacted me about a month ago and said, you know, Gail, I know you're involved in the broadband project. Can you give me a list of towns in Massachusetts who have built a broadband network or are about to? Because I'm not buying a house in a place that doesn't have high-speed internet.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So anyhow.
Well, you must have heard on the news, or maybe you didn't, that Midwestern states like Oklahoma and a whole bunch of them are offering $10,000 to anyone who wants to relocate from San Francisco, really where there are very high rents and you know, where it's very, very expensive to live, and you get $10,000 for making the switch over to living locally, and this has all been aimed at people who do their work online, and they also offer high-speed internet at the same time. I mean, you know, that's the other part of the deal, so to speak.
It's interesting.
Oh wow, I haven't heard that yet. The incentives for
yeah, 10 grand.
We probably don't want to do that, Jim.
No. No, I don't want to live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't know about you. It just, the Midwest doesn't hold much appeal, at least to me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It was on NPR a few nights ago, I think, a few days ago.
All right. Well, I hope that you all enjoy your pseudo snow days tomorrow.
Right.
And yeah, I will talk to all of you in the new year. Hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and New Year. And take care during the storm tomorrow.
And be safe.
Likewise.
No holiday gatherings.
This was our holiday party, I guess, right?
That was it.
Yeah.
This was it.
Yeah.
Okay, and a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Second, third.
All right, let's do it.
Aye.
Good night. Have a good one, everyone.
Good night,
Take
everyone.
care.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.